In every serious organization, whether it's corporate America, the military, the government, ministry, there's one rule. When the boss gives you a directive, you get it done. You do it. There are no excuses. On September 2nd, 2025, Turning Point USA CEO Charlie Kirk issued a written staff-wide letter appointing Justin Streiff as COO, effective immediately. And he gave him specific mandate. The mandate that Charlie gave to his COO, he said, create a DOGE-style efficiency operation with a small team. The staff was told, the position was accepted, the title also was accepted, the authority was granted. Today, as of January 21, 2026, I'm asking the question, why doesn't the DOGE exist? Okay, let's get something straight for the record. What is the Chief Operating Officer and what do they do? A Chief Operating Officer is not just a figurehead. The COO is the executor of the CEO's vision. He is the enforcer of operational disciplines. He's the person responsible for the implementation, not ideas. If the CEO says, we are launching a new initiative, the job of the COO is to build a team, set timelines, assign responsibility, track merits, and report progress. No debate, no talks, no conversation, no delays, no reinterprets. No. This is what the COO does. This is what Charlie Kirk said to his newly appointed COO, Justin Streiff. This is what I want you to do. And as the COO, Charlie says jump. You better be prepared to jump. But it seems that the COO didn't jump when Charlie said jump. Friends, welcome back to The Conservative Poet with me, Amania. So this conversation is something that I really want to have today. And before we get too far down into the nitty-gritty of it, I want to say that I so appreciate you guys and your support of the channel. And it's a new year. We actually just celebrated our, is it 4 years now here on The Conservative Poet? And January 2020, right? That was that. That's when we did this thing, January 2020. So I'm happy that you're here. And don't forget, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Now, before we get any further, I want to read the letter that Charlie Kirk sent out to the staff in its full entirety. Okay, here's the letter. Dear Team America, he starts. Effective immediately, Justin Streiff is taking on a new role elevated with Turning Point USA as the Chief Operating Officer. Since joining TPUSA in 2020, Justin has led Turning Point's fundraising division and in more recent years has been involved in some organizational operations, filling the COO role in many ways, but now officially taking on the title and expanding responsibilities. So I want to just point out here that I find it interesting that when he first started, he was in the fundraising arena. And I'm going to get back to that at some point because we're going to really deep dive into this because I want to understand Justin's energy when it comes to not doing what he was given an order to do. But I really enjoy the part of this that he was actually in the fundraising segment to start his career off at Turning Point. Because all the roads lead back to money, right? All the road leads back to the dollar. All right, let's continue here. The next part of the letter, he says, in this COO role, Justin will directly oversee development, events, finance, TPUSA faith, media marketing operations, asset management, distribution, Turning Point education, Blexit, HR, and legal. Man, that's a whole lot of stuff to be doing. Wow, that's a lot. Justin will also closely coordinate with Andrew Streiff on the National Field Program. So we'll get into Andrew Streiff later on as we get into who these two are and why they would be the ones working close together to get this thing going. But yeah, it seems that Justin's role, he's overseeing all of these things. So all of the heads are reporting to him essentially. But he has to be abreast on everything going on and all of these different things that I just talked about. Anyway, let's continue. In this new role, I have empowered Justin, among other priorities, to engage in an organizational-wide DOGE effort. Justin will be assembling a small team to assist in the effort, which is focused on Turning Point USA. This will be unifying. Wait, hold on. 1, becoming more efficient. 2, becoming more cost effective. 3, unifying organizational success around company-wide metrics and goals. And 4, reshaping company culture. He says, I expect many positive changes to come from this forthcoming initiative and Justin's expanded role. Then he goes on to say, please join me in congratulating Justin on this new role with the organization. And he says, as always, thank you for everything each of you do for Turning Point USA. Now let's get to work and save America. Thank you, Charlie Kirk, founder and CEO. And what I didn't mention at the top of this, in the letter, it says from Charlie Kirk, founder and CEO, to Turning Point USA employees, date September 2nd, 2025. And then it says RE Chief Operating Officer. So this is what this letter is about. It's about the Chief Operating Officer. And as we've discussed, the Chief Operating Officer, the COO, is none other than Justin Streiff. So you don't accept the title and reject the assignment. That's not leadership. That is insubordination. So what I want to do now is I want to play the video from Charlie Kirk's memorial where Justin speaks. Now, I will have the full video for you maybe before we get into this part or maybe afterwards, but I'm going to play it. It's about 4 minutes. I'll play it for you, but for right now, I'm going to be watching it and reacting to it. And because there's some key things in there that I think that I want to really, really showcase in what he is saying at Charlie's going away. So let me get into that.
And my thoughts keep returning to one thing, and that's time. Charlie lived only 31 years. Yet when I reflect on those years, I see more impact and more courage and more achievement than most men accomplish in a lifetime. I've known Charlie for a decade, and I'd like to share a little of what I learned from him.
So he says he's known Charlie Kirk for a decade. So he's been on the ground with Charlie a long time, right? So he knows this man. He knows this man, and he knows how he operates.
Charlie often said that having courage is one of the easiest things in the world because all it requires is you to say yes. Courage does not require talent. It does not require natural ability. Courage requires a personal decision.
And I have some notes that I took when I looked at this earlier. Courage is a personal decision. So in this moment, as he stands on the stage to say what Charlie Kirk expected, what Charlie Kirk was like, what Charlie Kirk did, he lived by courage. And so as his COO, the guy he gave a directive to, it doesn't matter if Charlie Kirk is dead. What matters is what he told you he wanted you to do. And in this moment of you standing there, memorializing him, and you're talking about the courage that Charlie Kirk has, but yet here you stand on the stage without any courage because this memorial happened way back in September. It is now January 21. And where is your courage? What's his name? Justin. Where is your courage to hold the line to do what it is that Charlie Kirk told you to do, that he told the entire staff? This is what Justin is going to be doing. He's going to assemble a small team. And here's point 1, point 2, point 3, point 4 of what he's going to focus on. I want him to get it done. Where is your courage, man, to do what Charlie Kirk told you to do?
It's interesting that people often describe Charlie as completely fearless, but the truth is simpler and much more profound. Charlie simply refused to let fear stop him from carrying out God's will for him and his life.
Again, you're talking about Charlie Kirk and how he's fearless and how he's letting God direct his ways in his life. Again, I ask you, Justin, where is your courage? Are you afraid of the mob? And yes, I understand that people could be afraid of the mob because nobody knows who's actually behind this. Well, we don't know, but maybe behind the scenes, they know who's behind it. And maybe this one knows who's behind it. And he doesn't have the fearlessness that Charlie Kirk did, right? Charlie Kirk lived for God. He lived for truth, and he lived for America and his family and his community. And for you to be his COO, knowing him 10 years, knowing that he had courage, knowing that he was fearless, to stand on the stage to say these things, and yet you are not producing those same attributes for your boss who gave you a straight up directive.
His courage was a daily choice, a yes, no matter the cost, and it cost him his life.
Yeah, it cost him his life. It cost him his life. And all of you, so many of you, are just not addressing a lot of the questions that people have in reference to his life being taken. He stood up every day and fought every day. And he expected his team, his people, his family to have his back.
This truth forced me to reflect on what we can't control: time. It's fleeting, it's fragile, and it's sacred. Charlie knew this better than anyone else. He didn't waste time. He lived every moment with conviction. He lived as a man of character and truth and courage, and he taught us not just through words, but through actions.
And I'd like to stop that again. He taught you not just through words, but through action. He even had a turning point action just for that to take action. Why is it that you, his COO, who was given a directive, and I got to keep going back to that because this is what we're talking about. You were given a directive from the CEO, from your boss. And it doesn't matter if he's no longer alive. He gave it to you. It's his wishes. Why are you not out here doing his wishes? This was his wish for his company, his wish for his organization, his wish. But you're not out here doing his wish.
Charlie was the same person in private as he was in public. And that's why we trusted him. That's why we loved him. That's why we all...
So he says Charlie was the same person in public that he was in private. So that says a lot. That says that he is seeking truth in every arena, whether that's in public or whether that's in private with friends and family and employees, donors. He is seeking truth. And he's the same person. And so the same person we saw in the public sphere asking questions, saying, I'm an open book. Ask me anything. No scripts, no nothing, just him and a mic. And he's the same way behind closed doors. He's the same way without the cameras. He's the same way without the mic. So that means he's talking to you, his staff, the same way. I want truth. I want courage. I want fearless people with me. This is who Charlie Kirk was. Why is it that his staff is not doing what Charlie Kirk would do himself?
I feel this loss so deeply. His honesty, his compassion, and his insistence on truth drew people in, even those who disagreed with him. Charlie stirred patriotism in us, but more deeply, he stirred our hunger to live united under God. He told us to stop and think, to use common sense, to grow up and pitch in. He asked us to...
He says that Charlie told them to stop and think. I had some things. He says, told them to stop and think. He told them to use your common sense. Use your common sense and think. In this moment, since September 10th, Has Turning Point USA used common sense? Has the representative, Justin, Tyler, Erica, and so many more? I'm forgetting one. Mikey McCoy. Have they used common sense? Because from what I'm understanding, Charlie's mantras and everything for this company, common sense, truth, courage, fearlessness. That's what he lived by. And that's what he expected the company. And he surrounded himself with people who he believed would be fearless like him, would have courage like him, would be fearless for truth and to spread the gospel and to live for Jesus and to truth, no matter what, no matter cost. I guess you were wrong, Charlie Kirk. I guess you were wrong.
To hear the words that God wrote on our hearts. I am the Lord your God, and you shall have no other gods before me. This is not a message of comfort or safety or peace. It's a message of love, a love of God's will. Charlie's life was anchored by that love. Every day he left his home, the comfort of it, his wife, his children, to face criticism and threats and angry mobs, and ultimately death. He loved God more than he loved safety or applause or even his own life.
Charlie Kirk. He loved God above everything because he knew God was using him for greater things. And he gave himself up as a vessel. His courage is contagious. It's contagious to we, the outsider, we, the people who didn't know him and work with him on a daily basis. But we out here, we want to know exactly what happened to him, but yet the people closest to him who knew him better than anybody is like refuting his message. They're refuting what Charlie Kirk was about. Truth, justice, courage. And that's why he established the DOGE. And this COO who was in charge of implementing it and taking DOGE to these things, Charlie said, we're excited for this new thing. We're excited for it. And I'm putting you in charge, Justin. We're excited for what you're going to do. Unfortunately, Charlie, he ain't doing much.
That's because the last 31 years weren't his career. They were his calling. Charlie's legacy is this. He showed us how to be better people. He gave voice to truth, and he followed God's will. He started with nothing more than an idea and a folding table. And over 13 years with time and courage and faith, he built a movement that changed the world. Now that Charlie's gone, what happens next?
As the COO, he's asking what happens next. What happens next, friend, is you take the directive that Charlie Kirk told you to do, establish that DOGE, get your small team, and do the 4 things that he requested for you to do in that. That's what happens next. If you don't know, that's what happens next. Mr. COO, that's what happens next.
It's up to us. Time is fleeting, but the decisions we make here right now are eternal.
And it's funny. You've made a decision right now. You've made a decision that you're not going to do what your boss told you to do. You're not going to do what Charlie Kirk told you to do. He announced it to the company. He wrote a letter. You accepted the position. You accepted the title, and I'm sure you accepted the salary. But yet, you're not doing the job, the most important part of this job of COO is this DOGE initiative. That's where Charlie's focus was. And being that he started in the fundraising arena, he knows how all of this goes, the funding, the money. This is what we're talking about here. We're talking where the money came from, where the money's going, where the money went, how it's being spent, the whole thing. We're talking about money. And he started off in the money department. And now he's being put in charge to track the money? Yeah. He's supposed to track the money. He's supposed to track the money.
So let us honor Charlie by doing what he did. Stand for truth, confront evil, live courageously, and we do it the way that Charlie did. With compassion, but never compromising on truth. Demanding the best from ourselves, from each other, and from our country. Charlie reminded us that courage requires only a yes. And he said yes every single day.
Are you going to say yes? Charlie said yes every single day. You've been with him 10 years. You watch him say yes every day. I'm asking you, Justin. When are you going to say yes to doing and putting to action what Charlie Kirk told you to do?
And now it's our turn. It's our turn to say yes, to speak boldly, to speak honestly, to fight for our families, to love our country, to honor God, and to wisely use the time that we've been given. And it's to do for the next generation what Charlie did for us. Because all of this, right here and right now, is our turning point. We love you, Charlie, and we won't let you down.
He says that this is our turning point, this moment right here. Charlie did his part. Now it's our turn to do ours. And it's so funny. It should be very easy for you, Justin. It should be very easy because you already have memo in hand on what to do. You said, we're not going to let you down, Charlie. But unfortunately, Charlie said in his letter that this thing starts immediately. And it says that this is how the letter starts, effective immediately. Effective immediately. Justin Streiff is taking on a new role, elevated with Turning Point USA as Chief Operating Officer. In this COO role, Justin will directly oversee all of these different departments heads. And he is going to implement in this new role, I have empowered him. I empowered Justin. Empowered. You are empowered, Justin. I have empowered you, Justin, among other priorities, to engage in an organizational-wide DOGE effort. Justin will be assembling a small team to assist in the effort, which is focused on TPUSA. 1, becoming more efficient. 2, becoming more cost-effective. 3, unifying the organizational success around the company worldwide metrics and goals. And 4, reshaping company culture. He says, I expect many positive things to come from this forthcoming initiative and Justin's expanded role. Justin, you've already gotten your directive. You've gotten your paperwork. You've gotten your instructions from the great Charlie Kirk. Are you going to make him proud, Justin? Are you going to make Charlie Kirk proud? Are you going to say yes today? Are you going to embrace courage like Charlie Kirk did? Are you going to embrace truth like Charlie Kirk did? Are you going to embrace it like Charlie Kirk did? 10 years, huh? Mr. COO. 10 years. So what would be the consequences in a company, corporate America, if a COO ignores a CEO's directive? In corporate America, termination. Military command, relief of duty. Ministry leadership, removal. Government, investigation. Investigation. If a company CEO tells you what to do in any of these arenas, what stands out to me most of all right now is investigation. Investigation on why is it that a CEO gave a directive in reference to finding waste, fraud, and abuse, allegedly, if a CEO gave a directive in this capacity, why isn't it being executed? Why isn't it being executed? Because the COO's job is execution. That's his main job, is to get it done. What the CEO say, you get done. Intentions don't count. Titles don't matter. Optics don't count. It's what the action. It's the reports of what you're doing. It's the time frames, right? It's what you're doing. It's the supervision of the team so you can report. Now, it would be that he would report these things to Erica Kirk because she's now the CEO. Did she, as the CEO, tell him to stand down? Do not. I know my husband sent out letters for you to do this DOGE. Did she say, what's his name? Justin, stand down. Stand down, Justin. You don't have to do what Charlie Kirk said in that letter. You stand down. You focus on other things. We're gonna demolish this DOGE thing. Again, effective immediately, which means this thing was in play, right? This was in play. I would assume that before this thing came together, Charlie Kirk was having meetings with certain people, maybe. I know for sure he would have had a meeting with Justin to say, Justin, this is my vision. DOGE is happening in our mainstream government. I want the same thing to happen here, and I want you to head it up. You, my guy, you've been with me all these years. You know what I need. You know what I'm thinking. I need you because I trust you, Justin. I trust you to pull this off. And by the way, title COO is coming along with this. You're going to be a big deal around these parts. And Justin say, whatever you want, Charlie. We love you and we're going to make you proud. Whatever you want, Charlie. The memos went out. Everybody knows. The world knows. This is what Charlie Kirk wanted. And the world also is seeing that what Charlie Kirk wanted is not being done. So leadership isn't just vibes, right? It's execution. When a CEO gives a directive, especially in writing, especially for more eyes to see, all of the employees to see, all of the employees across all of the different organizations tied into it, when everybody knows this, and for you not to follow through and do what the CEO has directed you to do, that's saying a lot. This thing requires action, and I think it is fair game for all of us who are interested in what happened to Charlie Kirk to ask these questions. These questions are required. Because if Charlie wanted this, Charlie should have this. And whoever is running the company should put Charlie's request at the top because he knew what was best for his company that he built, that he sweat over. And eventually, that he was shot to death over and shed blood over and died over. This is one of his last directives. and his company, his organization, his employees, his COO, and his new CEO. They should all fall in line to get what he wanted done. So this conversation, I'm going to be turning this into a series. And what I'm going to do is start to look into some of this, because I think this is a fair conversation to have. And so we're going to turn it into a series so we can deep dive even more. So in the next episode of this series, so this is going to be episode 1. In the next episode of this series, I want to look into Andrew Streiff. Now, he's the one that Charlie wrote in the letter. He says Justin will also closely coordinate with Andrew Streiff on the national field program. Now, just to give you a little snippet, Andrew was called into Congress during a hearing. And so we're going to talk a little bit about him and his tie-in with this, because Charlie put him in this letter above all other employees. This is also a directive to Andrew, because Charlie says here that the two of them are going to be working closely, coordinating closely. So if the COO Justin isn't doing what he's supposed to, Andrew is supposed to say, hey buddy, Charlie gave us instructions on something to do. He said we were going to coordinate closely together, but we're not doing that, COO Justin. Are we going to uphold what Charlie told us to do? So we're going to talk more about that. In the second episode of this, I got to figure out a title for it. We'll figure it out. I don't know. I'll think about it. Give me in the chat. Tell me in the chat, hey, this would make a great title for the series. Whatever. Tell me in the chat. So we'll talk about it then. So I'll see you in that episode, but you'll see me throughout other videos, because I'm also working on another series. And this one is called Uncovering Haiti. Yes. And there's a reason why I'm doing that. And so catch the full first episode of that one if you haven't. It's about Pierre Reginald Boulos, who ICE arrested a Haitian nationalist who was doing some very bad things, and he was arrested by ICE. But I'm going to be doing another episode of that. You'll catch that soon. That'll be dropping this Friday. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I'm very excited for the work that I'm doing here. I'm having more clarity, not chasing the news cycle. I want to stay focused. I want to uncover some of the things that's going on here in America, but in Haiti as well. And I want to stay on the pulse of this Charlie Kirk thing. I really, really don't want to put this one down. I really, really want to work on this, because we need to know what happened. We need to know who did this and why. I mean, we know it's because of money, power, and secrets, but there's so many questions, and all of us have something to contribute. All of us have something to contribute to what's happened here with Charlie Kirk. So I will see you in the next episode of this series. Okay? God bless you and keep you. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. God bless you.